Hello everyone and welcome back to Shonen Archive Gaiden. I'm Wokey and I'm here today with another Gintama video. What's Shonen Archive? I'm glad you asked. Shonen Archive is a series in which me and Zen have dedicated our entire lives to eventually watching every single Shonen Jump anime in existence until the end of time or the end of one of us, whichever one of those happens first. But you'll notice that this show is called Shonen Archive Gaiden. The reason is that unfortunately Zen has fallen onto some very hard times, and he needs to take a break away from everything. So until he comes back, I've created something called Shonen Archive Gaiden, which is this video right here, where I like to talk about some of the more other things in shonen of the Shonen Jump animes that we see, which is what brings us here to what we're going to be looking at, which is the volume extras for Gintama. This time going for volumes 3 and 4. I did 1 and 2 previously. If you want to check that one out beforehand, I'm going to be looking at 3 and 4 to read through them. Of the main series that we're going through, it's Gintama, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, it's Kuroko's Basketball. But we had to stop Gintama sometime around episode 200 something, so I'm not going to be able to see all these volumes, but I may as well be able to see the ones for the episodes we've already seen, see some of the kind of insights inside them, since I didn't read the manga, and unfortunately, the manga is not widely available to us over here in the States, and as I've learned from many comments, it's not widely available in a lot of places. I was very shocked to hear that unless you're just living in Japan, it's not easy to get your hands on these volumes, and in some cases, they're just straight up not sold there. So let's get into the video, shall we? We'll start with volume 3. So this is the site I'm also using. It's called Yorozoya Shinigami. I'll leave a link below if you want to check out the site yourself. This was given to me by a friend way back when we started Shonen Archive. Way back in the day. She said you should check this out when you have the time and maybe do a video about it, and here we are. So I do read absolutely every single comment. Sometimes I don't say something back to them, but I do read absolutely everything, especially since this is basically a passion project for me and Zen, which is why we're able to take long breaks. But anyway, volume 3. Title, On Second Thought, at a certain age, it's still a long way for humans. How scary. So, we asked Sorachi-sensei how to draw manga. Question and answer 1. About your favorite tools. How many types of pens do you normally use? The G pen and the Maru pen, the brush pen, and the multi-liner. I guess this is still back when they were making, I think it's changed for the most part. I think he probably has, I'm not sure if he's updated it. I remember having a conversation about this with said friend of if he switched over to digital, and I think he might be for the new manga that he's starting, but I think for the most part, all of Gintama was done by the old-fashioned way of doing things. Which ones do you use to draw the main strokes of the characters? G pen and the Maru pen. And which one of the borders of the vignettes? The 0.8 multi-liner. What is your favorite screen? Or the one you use most often? I prefer to use them as little as possible. Do you have a specific technique for applying screens? I can't answer that without asking my assistants. Well, at least no, it's not all of him doing it. Is there any secret tool that only you use which is not used for drawing manga? No, nothing specific. It really feels like he's just going like, listen, man. I guess people ask about this, but I'm not doing anything all that different compared to some other people. On finishing the boards, is there anything you always check in boards or any points you pay special attention to? Because I always cut down to the last, my editor takes them away before I can check them. On ideas for the work, where do you usually find inspiration? In my room, where I can't think of anything, I wander up and down the room. This is super real. If anyone's ever tried to do anything creative, especially if it's drawing, if when you just don't have it in you for an inspiration of some kind, you're just standing there, dead stare at a screen and going, man, can I really not think of anything? Am I just washed? Am I just bad at this? Maybe that's just how I felt the entire time I was learning how to draw and do stuff with art, stuff like that. It's a very dangerous mindset to go down. Do you have a method for refreshing your mind when you are struggling? I twirl a pen between my fingers, wash the dishes, or take a bath. Oh, well, Interesting. I don't really do anything for refresh. I guess playing a video game is how I refresh my mind when I'm struggling to think of something. Makes sense. And finally, give some advice to aspiring mangaka. I too am still searching for the right path to take, but I always tell myself that you should never forget the playful spirit. I think the best way to draw a fun manga is to draw while having fun. But then I soon forget. Let's do it together. Published on Jump's special sample of original illustrations. I guess that's a good way of looking at it. You should try and have fun with what you're doing. The one time I did try and do a comic series, which was way back in the day, you can't exist it anymore because we took it down. I did it with the Mew Mew Force, and obviously I didn't do very much of the drawing because my art was nowhere near as good as the others that were participating in. I was really more the story, and I helped with the rough layout of what I think it could kind of look like and stuff like that. And we did have a whole lot of fun. It was very hard to do anything though. Trying to get the panels done and colored and everything in, it was a complete nightmare. So if you don't have fun, I think probably more than any other job, mangaka is definitely one that if you are not having fun while doing it, it probably is a miserable experience, because it's such a hard job to actually do, especially with how cutthroat it is nowadays. It's pretty bad. Anyway, thank you for purchasing the 3rd volume of Gintama. I would love to. How time flies. We're already at 3. Maybe the time that has passed is comparable to the period of fatigue for a married couple when every behavior of your partner strikes your nerve, and let phrases like, "Why do you always leave the light on in the bathroom? Turn it off, you wench." In short, it's a dangerous time. People quarrel over trifles or even risk divorce. This is an insane... I mean, I guess most couples are kind of like that, I guess. I can't imagine that myself. If I ever find someone who's willing to get with me, I would definitely be... You're gonna have to ask me to leave because I'm sticking to this until the very end. I would have it in me too. I will find a way to make it work. Which is probably its own toxic mindset if you think hard enough about it. But I believe that by talking frankly, you can overcome the crisis. Well, there you go. I now have an idea of what to do. That said, I want to create a space for questions. Any topic is fine, as long as I can fill the extra pages, so if you have any doubts, actually, they don't have to be questions. You can always send long text that can fill 7 pages. Free theme. Subject, it's not that I consider the creation of the extra pages to be a hassle. I simply want to establish contact with the readers. I guess that's a good way of doing it. Oda does that with One Piece, where they ask him whatever. Anyway, Gintama completely naked. We're out of illustrations to put in the extra pages. Since I have nothing to put in them, I'm stripping again because there's nothing else to do. I'd urge those of you who are thinking, that's enough, to fill this void yourself. Does it bother you, or do you not care if they remain white? I don't believe you, but I think back to the Bikoriman snack stickers. They were a huge success. Some even threw away the snacks to keep only this. I can't imagine that. Freebies are important, huh? We're running out of space. I can't imagine buying a snack to keep a sticker. Unless that's like the most ballin' sticker that I've ever seen, and it's maybe the most trash candy that I've ever seen. I would never do that. I'm eating it for the most part. Gintama completely naked. I apologize if I lost my temper earlier, but I wanted you to all understand how hard it is to make extra pages. Huh? What? Did the title characters get bigger? That's not true at all. It's an optical illusion. What are you saying? Are you insinuating that I sneakily tried to fill as much space as possible or something? Stop it. I wouldn't do something so dishonest. Huh? The space is used up again. This man, he's working smarter, not harder. Gintama completely naked, but he also works very hard. Don't want to get the words twisted. I've got about 3 pages left. How long is the road? No matter how hard I run, I can't see the finish line. Will I have to repeat this hard work every time there's a single issue? Not a chance. After all, I'm writing these pages by giving up my holidays for the Buddhist Festival of the Dead. While everyone is having fun dancing, I am compiling these pages locked up in my room. I pretend to converse with the readers, but even though I am alone and already 25 years old, there's no one in front of me. I am alone in writing. Is this good? Or have I gone mad? Truly, no one writes exactly like Sorochi does. The gorilla really has a way with words. And maybe he's also just maybe going insane, and that's why I feel like he has a way with words. First of all, I'm working without taking a day off, while my editor will surely have gone to the seaside to enjoy himself. Once the holidays are over, when he tells me, hey, you're behind on your storyboard, what the hell did you do? We'll be tanned, I'll break his glasses with the Jump magazine's ribs. At the high school baseball club, all the students were forced to shave their hair to zero, but the coach did the same. Maybe the situation is different since it's work, but at least I'd like him to add, I was having fun at the beach anyway, at the end of his sentence, or a bit like Kurosuke, who in Kitaretsu Daihyaku always ended his sentences with Nari. Okay. I am unfamiliar with that series. And finally, Gintama completely naked. So from one complaint to another, I somehow managed to get to the last page. I apologize if I've written long nonsense. Since I'll be creating a question corner from volume 4 onwards, I think things will improve a bit. Sorry again for everything. This will be the last time. Bye and see you in volume 4. So maybe by volume 3 he realized, actually that makes a lot of sense considering the questions that he got here, where they were saying like, so how do you draw it? And all his things were like, I did this, I did that, I did here. He was probably begging, please send me a question about absolutely anything, bro. I'm dying over here. I need something. Give me anything. That's funny. Next volume. That's volume 3. Now I'm going on to volume 4 with Sadaharu and Otai. This is a very cute cover. The title of it, Father and Son tend to be similar, only in negative aspects. Man, God, I miss talking about Gintama with Zen. It's so fucking funny. It's so funny so many times. I can't get over it. Thank you for buying the 4th volume. How time flies. In Japan, it has already been a year since I started the serial publication for this work. A year ago, when I went to Tokyo to greet the editor-in-chief almost sentenced me to death by saying, "You're still a newcomer, you'll get a second chance," even before the manga started publication. Even at the New Year's party, the bigwigs at the publishing house showered me with criticisms. But look, VIPs, 4 volumes are out already, right? Your prediction didn't turn out to be correct. Well, that said, from this month on, the questions corners have been anxiously awaiting for will start. Enjoy it, everyone, Surachi. That's great. Great. I wonder how much of this is real. How many people were really doubting... I guess in the early days, some people were doubting Gintama. But considering how popular it is in Japan now, it seems kind of like a... I can't believe anyone thought that this wasn't going to work out, because it has just about everything that they would want. It's a period piece that's also sci-fi, that also has ball jokes. What more could you possibly want? Contact with the readers, Questions Corner 1. Question from Mr. Miwa of the Osaka province. How do you do, Sorachi-sensei? If you don't know how to fill the extra pages, how about this question? Where does Gin-san sleep and bathe? Let me know the room layout of the Yorizoya. Answer? Kagura's bedroom. It's a wall cabinet. Gin-san sometimes sleeps in the Japanese-style room, sometimes on a sofa, and sometimes doesn't come home at all. Sometimes Shinpachi stays over and goes to his house. Kagura is like Doraemon. Sadaharu sleeps everywhere. So this would be... I guess I've never actually thought about how their room layer out. But yeah, this is the entry. Here's a corridor. Inside here, I think this is typically where he would sleep. I think. And then, no, does he really sleep in the Japanese-style room? I don't know. I feel like in some episodes, they've had they've had Kagura be in the same room that Gin sleeps in, but maybe this is him sometimes sleeping on the sofa now that I look at it. A bath, restroom. Do some people have a restroom separated from their bath? I guess that makes sense. I was trying to think, usually it's... Actually, now that I think about it, when I went to my trip on Vegas, the bathroom was technically in a tiny little room compared to where the shower was. That's crazy, though, because for the most part, whenever I think of a bathroom, it usually just has a shower in it and the toilet. I've never actually thought too hard about that now that I think about it. But anyway, contact with the readers, question corner number 2. Question from Mr. Kanatsu of the Osaka province. We want the profiles of the main characters. Answers: I haven't thought about that at all. I only have a vague idea of their ages. Ginsan 20 to 30. I really do feel like Gintoki's probably late 30s. Like, if he's not already 30, he has to be pushing like 28 or so. Because he acts so much older than everyone else in the series. Especially compared to like Shinpachi 16, that makes sense. Kagura 13, 14 or so. Sure, that also makes sense to me. Well, Shinpachi's sister, or Otai as they would call her, 18. Old hag, about 60. How did Catherine get a name, but not her? Catherine is around 30. Hasagawa is about 35 and 40. Katsura, or Zura, is 20s to 30s. I assume... I don't remember if they said Katsura is about the same age or slightly younger. So if I would say Gin is probably somewhere close to 28, I'd say probably Katsura is maybe 27. Sakamoto as above, nah, he's definitely younger than the others. He kind of strikes me as 26. Takatsuji, probably same age as Gin, honestly, at 28. Kondo... What age could Kondo be that is not creepy towards Otai? I would say maybe he is older. Maybe he's closer to 28 as the others. Maybe 20s, maybe 25. I'll let him be nice and say 25. Takatsuji, Hijikata as above. Yeah, Hijikata probably is a little bit older. Okita 15 to 20, even if he's already drinks. I feel like... I guess it kind of depends on when he's next to Kagura. I feel like Okita, when he's not next to Kagura, is closer to 20, but when he's next to Kagura, he de-ages and is like slightly older than her, if that kind of makes any sense. I feel like when you see them together, Okita definitely de-ages and becomes closer to her age, if only slightly older. But when he's alone and he's doing other things, he's definitely feels like he's around 20. Are you happy, you bastards? Well, first of all, you didn't give names. You didn't give actual ages, except for 2 characters, which is Shinpachi and Otai, which is 18. The rest you kind of gave just vibes, but you know what? I'll take it. Contact with the readers. Question corner 3. Question from Mr. Mariro of the Hiroshima province. Is the pronunciation intuition of Gintama the same as Kintama? Or is it the same as Kinsama, the great actor Matsudaira? Answer. It's the same as the intuition of the famous actress and singer Yu Sunha. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be pronounced closer to, obviously now, but this is probably when the volumes are coming out and they're saying, hey, how do you say this name? It's funny because in Japan, there's plenty of ways to write something out and to mean something else, so that's probably why it makes sense to say, like, how do you say this? He's like, listen, Yun Sun Ha. That's great. I don't know who that is. Another reference that's lost on me. Contact with the readers, question corner 4. Question from Mr. Kashiwadani from Tokyo. I'm curious about something in the 24th lesson of The Cat's Punch appeared, and they consist of Kurikan, Hattori, Catherine, at least before, and the other one who looks like the famous Jigan. Well, if possible, I'd like to know the full name of the surnames, as well as having the profile of all the members. If you find this annoying, at least tell me Jigan's name, because I really like Cat's Punch. I'll be happy if a random name. Please do it. Answer, Kashiwadani. Even when he gets very specific questions, he cannot actually answer it. He's like, I don't know, make it the same as your name. Question from the housewife who wants to play badminton with Yamazaki. Listen, Sorochi-sensei, I'm a 40-year-old housewife and a big fan of Gintama, but the extra pages in the 3rd volume are really terrible. What do they mean? You could have published character introductions, i.e. profiles. I don't get it. My question is this. Why does Yamazaki of the Shinsengumi play badminton by himself? This is a question from a 40-year-old woman who finds it hilarious. P.S. My question is published. Will I receive anything? Or does this possibility not exist? To be on the safe side, I'll write my address and phone number. The main thing I can take from this is, one, this 40-year-old woman is very funny. And the other thing is, a lot of women really like Gintama. I know that for true. I can see it in the analytics when I look at videos. It's the only one, because unfortunately the only other videos I really do are other video games and Fago, which obviously I love doing them. They're the reason I'm able to do these type of videos, is because I always know the Fago videos will have my back as far as growing the channel. But not a lot of women play Fago. And the few that do, I appreciate, and I try my best to kind of help them out. But for the most part, it's a lot of dudes. It's a lot of dudes. So I know for a fact that when we do Gintama, there's definitely more women who watch those videos for that. And I appreciate all of them, of course. Shout outs to women. Answer, Madame, a gag explained is no longer funny. It's like killing it. It stops being funny. You ask me if the publication of the question will get anything. No one will give you anything. Let your husband buy you something. Your husband? What do you mean you'll give us your phone number and address? Are you serious? I wrote you all sorts of things, but please continue to follow Gintama and give your neighbors a volume too. Alright. So how do you like the questions corner? I liked it because I didn't have to work hard. Thank you all for the cooperation. Hey, you. If you have anything that is on your mind, just ask me. I'll be waiting for opinions and requests. Since the shipping topic was criticized for being too long, I shortened it a bit. Topic, well, simply I consider it a hassle to make extra pages. And that's the end of the Volume 4 questions. These are definitely much funnier in terms of what he's doing. It's much easier when he's playing off of. I like that a lot of the people answering here seem to be as kind of like weird as he is when it comes to certain stuff, and as funny of like asking questions. He gave the most effort into the woman, to the 40-year-old woman, compared to some of the other ones, which is pretty funny, but not bad as far as questions go. And that is it for Volume 4, and that is the end of this video for now. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to, as I do the ending spiel here, again, every month I ask Zen if he's going to be good to start recording again, and it hasn't been the right time. He still needs a lot of time. He's going through a lot, especially nowadays. You can only wish him the best, because he is definitely going through a lot. And in general, a lot of people are going through a lot, but that's why we have to help out anyone when we can, right? But anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you want to actually support the show, you can leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It does help a whole bunch, which thankfully, the fans of Gintama are very supportive people. They will gladly leave comments because they're like, oh my god, I can't believe someone's talking about one of my favorite series. And it is always awesome whenever I see it. I love reading comments like that. It's the greatest feeling in the world, because it's definitely, I feel like maybe it's just because I feel like not enough people give Gintama a chance, because the early episodes, they don't know what it is. Like, it's hard, I guess it's kind of hard to get into Gintama and telling people, like, bro, if you just stick with it, some of the most peak shit that you've ever seen in your life will be coming from this anime. But you also have to get through a lot of episodes with a lot of dick jokes and a lot of ball jokes. And they're funny jokes, but it definitely undercuts. You would never have any idea of the lengths of what Gintama will be and stuff like that if you only see it from the outside. It's crazy when you look at it on the inside. And I guess it's also fair to say that Gintama, for the most part, whenever a clip goes viral of something of Gintama's, it's the comedy, because it is really funny. It's just also that when you watch it for the serious bits, it can be pretty good. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, that's how you can do it. But you never have to worry about any of this going away, because I always have Fago as a backup plan for anything to grow the channel. If anything, it helps it grow, and then it allows us to do stuff like this, which is pretty neat. But yep, that's the end of the video, everyone. This is usually the part where I would do a bang and say goodbye, but as long as it's me solo, there's no need for such violence in the world. Only violence when there's someone else here for me to actually do it to. So I'll say, you guys have a good night, a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next one, wherever it may be. Bye-bye.